Alright, so we're replacing the rotors and pads. We have new pads and a new rotor. Let's take the tire off first. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is remove this bolt down here at the bottom of the caliper. There's a bolt right there on the top. There's one on the bottom of the caliper, the same place. It is right, let's see if I can get to it without covering up the camera. Hopefully you can see that right there. So those, and then the only other one, or two actually, are the hose line. So that one and that one. And one of the reason we take these out is to kind of loosen the hose so we could just pick the caliper off. And I usually just set it right here. So if you have a wire coat hanger, you can also run a wire coat hanger off the top and just hang it. But we aren't going to be that in depth today. Basically, we're going to replace pads and this. Once you get this brake caliper off, you just basically remove these two bolts. This will slide off. Basically just reassembled the same way. So let's get started. Alright, so that's 12 out of the bottom of this. Right out of there. Alright, so we're having a bit of trouble with these guys. This thing will slide off, so I just basically ease this rubber over the top there and slid it off. And just kind of slid this whole unit off. I'm just going to take these bolts out right here so we make a little bit more room. Get this thing out of the way, and then that'll give us a little bit more clearance for the bolts back here. Alright, so finally got them. I had to turn this a little bit so I can get the breaker bar in there. These were on there really tight, so they were over torqued. But yeah, we're just going to pull this off. This assembly should come right off. Alright, there she is in all of her glory. Right here. Definitely have to degrease that sucker. Alright, so to get this off, it's just that bolt and that bolt. Alright, so basically you put it there, put the bar under your knee, they'll come loose. These they break off pretty easy, and they're good. Or break loose pretty easy. You don't want them to break off. But yeah. And then whenever you put this back on, you can tighten these, just hand tighten them. Mainly because the tire is not going to allow these to back out because the tire is holding everything together. It slides off. Good to go there. When putting your new one back on, make sure that you line the holes up where those bolts go, and then screw them back together. Alright, and I usually don't wipe off whatever this residue that they put on these. I do not wipe it off. I leave it on there. It's a kind of lubricant. So definitely when you get your new ones, break them out of the bag, slide them on. Don't really wipe them off. Like, leave that on there. Alright, let's put these bolts in and reassemble. Alright, so now that we got everything assembled here, we need to put our pads on. Now the easiest way to do this, you're going to need a tool like this, or like a C-clamp. This tool's like really messed up, so I have to like kind of goof with it, but you need one of those or like a C-clamp to push this back in a little bit to be able to clear the back of the pads. Now, one thing I do so that I don't have to bleed the system is just remove a little bit of brake fluid from here and then take the top off the reservoir. I allow the actual brake fluid to move back up through the system. It'll actually just kind of push it here. It'll raise up. Once you crank the car, push everything, it goes right back down. And that will keep air from entering the system. This is the cool thing about Hondas. I've never done this on other cars, so I don't know if it works on other vehicles, but it works on Hondas definitely. Because my tool is jacked up, you can see that. I'll just put it on the edge and push it. Just go in slowly and it'll actually push it in. And then basically we're going to pull it back out and then slide these pads in, and then we're done. Alright, well that worked. And one thing you want to do is make sure that that pin right there is on the bottom. That's where that goes. slide that back down. Everything's in place. So now I just gotta put this last bolt back in, tire back on, and we are finished. And that's pretty much how you do that. It's very simple, like literally maybe 30 minutes to do the whole job if you have all the tools. And you're gonna definitely need a pry bar. Definitely gonna need a breaker bar and just some sockets pretty much. I got a hammer just in case. And if they're really on there good, you might need some like lubricant just to lube it up. And we can pop it off. So that's pretty much it. Just got to put the tire back on and you're done. And basically just put the cap back on to the brake reservoir. It's over there. And after you're done with that, drive it around. Pump the brakes some and just drive it around. You should be good. All right, you guys take it easy. Peace.